Aloha! This is Jody. The 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor is on December 7th, 2016. Behind me here is Ford Island, also known as Moku'ume'ume in Hawaiian. I'm going to take you on a brief tour around the island and share some interesting facts with you. Let's go! In 1916, the island was sold to the U.S. Army for use by Army Aviation. In 1939, it was taken over by the U.S. Navy for battleship and submarine maintenance. Ford Island was at the center of the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. The initial bomb struck Ford Island at 7:57 a.m. The Admiral Clary Bridge opened on April 15, 1998. Prior to this, ferries traveled back and forth taking people to Ford Island. Ford Island is also known as a location for movie filming. Here are some well-known movies and TV shows filmed on Ford Island. 1965, In Harm's Way, starring John Wayne. 1970, Tora Tora Tora. 2000, Pearl Harbor, where a plane crashed on the Ford Island airstrip during filming, but no one was injured. 2010, Hawaii Five-0, filmed in Battleship Cove. And also in 2010, Battleship, filmed on the USS Missouri. Today, the following memorials are located on Ford Island: the USS Utah, the USS Oklahoma, and the USS Battleship Missouri. Today, Ford Island is also the location for the U.S. Navy housing, the Pacific Warfighting Center, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, and the Pacific Aviation Museum. Now I am at the USS Utah Memorial. This memorial was dedicated in 1972, honoring 64 crew which were killed during the attack. Behind me here is the USS Oklahoma Memorial. The USS Oklahoma was part of Battleship Row and was sunk during the attack on Pearl Harbor. The memorial behind me was dedicated in 2002, honoring 429 crew which were killed in the attack. On December 7, 1941, at 7:48 in the morning, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor with 353 fighter planes, bombers, and torpedo bombers. All 8 U.S. battleships were damaged, 4 were sunk, and sadly, 2,403 Americans were killed during the attack. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's historic speech to a joint session of Congress requesting a declaration of war started with, "Yesterday, December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan." This famous and historic statement was made on December 8, 1941 at 12:30 p.m. 1 hour later, Congress declared war on Japan. Today, it is important for us to remember the sacrifices made by many service members and families, and to never forget those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. The United States and Japan are now very close allies, and both countries come together each year to remember and pay tribute to those who lost their lives. Today, Pearl Harbor is the home of the Pacific Fleet. Ships and submarines deploy from Pearl Harbor to keep the Pacific safe. The USS Arizona Memorial was officially dedicated on May 30th, 1962. This memorializes the final resting place for 1,102 sailors and Marines. Here are some interesting facts about this memorial. 23 sets of brothers died aboard the USS Arizona. The entire USS Arizona band was lost in the attack. Fuel continues to leak from the wreckage. The hull holds 500,000 gallons of fuel, and 9 quarts of fuel leak each day. You can see the leaking fuel on the surface of the water beneath the memorial. Some of the former crew members have chosen the USS Arizona as their final resting place. U.S. Navy divers will place the urn of the deceased crew member in the hull of the USS Arizona to return the sailor to his shipmates. More than 2 million people visit the USS Arizona Memorial every year. Did you know that Elvis Presley held a concert in Honolulu, Hawaii on March 25, 1961 to benefit the USS Arizona Memorial? The ticket prices ranged from $3 to $100 a seat, and the concert raised over $62,000. The USS Missouri, or the Mighty Mo, is a United States Navy Iowa-class battleship. The Mighty Mo was commissioned in June 1944 and fought in the battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa. She also fought in the Korean War from 1950 to 1955. The Mighty Mo received a total of 11 battle stars for her service. She was finally decommissioned in 1992. In 1998, she was donated to the USS Missouri Memorial Association and became a museum ship at Pearl Harbor. The USS Missouri is most known as the site where the Empire of Japan signed the Surrender Treaty, ending World War II. On September 2, 1945, high-ranking officials from Allied powers boarded the Missouri. Fleet Admiral Chester Nimitz and General Douglas MacArthur, the Supreme Commander for the Allies, boarded at 8:43 a.m. The Japanese representatives, led by Foreign Minister Mamoru Shigemitsu, arrived at 8:56 a.m. At 9:02 a.m., General MacArthur opened the surrender ceremony with, "It is my earnest hope, indeed the hope of all mankind, that from this solemn occasion a better world shall emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past, a world founded upon faith and understanding, a world dedicated to the dignity of man and the fulfillment of his most cherished wish for freedom, tolerance, and justice." The Japanese signed the Surrender Treaty on September 2, 1945.